Is Misha Sinead Ní Bharnog agus Tamian Shaw at Crockanboy Hill, Massrock. I'm here at Crockanboy Hill, Massrock. I'm going to read out a poem that was written in our native tongue, which is topical given that during the penal times in these glens, the Irish language had been the language that everybody spoke around here. This poem is An Shaw Lara Glana, Here in the Glen by Sean McAris. It's written about the times of the penal laws in the 17th and the 18th century when efforts were made to suppress the Catholic majority. Clergy were outlawed, mass was outlawed. People chose to congregate in rural isolated places like up here on Crockanboy Hill in Monterlony. Priests were actively hunted. This particular story, I suppose it's based on oral tradition. It's preserving the cultural memory of the hardships. And in this story, it talks about the mass being held here, not here particularly, but at a Massrock, and the priest is saying just after finishing the mass, and then they hear that the I suppose what you call the soldiers were coming, the redcoats they talk about, and they have to decide what are they going to do because they knew that the priest would be taken. So an old man comes out from the congregation and says, "Change with me, Father, you're young, I'm old, my days are done, I'll wear your garments." So they switch, and the old man, Sean O'Lee, he is caught by the redcoats and he is hung from a tree. So it's just a preserving the cultural memory of the hardships, and that's just an example. This poem was written in the southern part of Ireland, but this is just an example of what would have happened here and all around these glens. An Shaw Lara Glana, the Sean McAris. The Antafran Leche is Gacran Janta, the Pubble J ig Scapu, nor a Hulimer Glaw ig Chact in our draw, An Shaw Lara Glana. King Glaw should ig Chact in our draw, Shin Toran Cuss na Gapple, Sha hugging Sidri Arm and Ree, An Shaw Lara Glana. Dochas and Shan ar Brian O'Lee, is Hule a draw and taggart, is Cur she cugger in a cluish, An Shaw Lara Glana. O a ahar shan, Sha hugging na caughty jarraga, Ni Fager latsa chehu anish, An Shaw Lara Glana. Ta tussa og a ahar shan, Tam hien in Yeri Baha, Jan Mallarch Adi Lomanish, An Shaw Lara Glana. Do Jenu Mallarch Gan Raw Will, Eginia Tull and Taggart, Is Heel she Jora Mora Brown, An Shaw Lara Glana. Do Go na Sassany Brian O'Lee, Is Jimmy Sear and Saggart, Do Crock Shid Brian Chran Keel Ard, An Shaw Lara Glana. Och Marhi Kyle and Chan I, Fada Assi fair Halu, Be a scale a Rio, ig far of Foyle, An Shaw Lara Glana. I'm standing here now at Crockanboy Massrock in Carrigan Affron, and just behind me, we're looking down here at Mullicarn. We can see how rural and isolated we are up here, but just to the side, this is where Dalradian want to do their plans. Right alongside this Massrock. We're all very worried about the access that we may not be allowed, that has been given to us for centuries, to be able to celebrate our faith and to be able to come up here and acknowledge the hardship our ancestors went through. We're looking out across the Sperrins, across Slaveja Winterliny, Monterlony, the place where our ancestors have lived for generations. We can see Saul and Dart. We're looking up here at Glenlark and Lecken, over and on down to Cunniglen. At Crockanboy Hill, we can look over to Dunrua. It's really important, this site, and the history that's around here. During the penal times in the 16th and 17th century, the priest for the Bodoni area, the entire Bodoni area, which was covering this area, would have been living up in Cunniglen, and there was other Massrock sites further along, Massrock sites at Crock, over towards Brockderg, and there's probably more other sites that we don't know of that have gone into the history, into oral history that maybe haven't been passed on. But it's just, this is a really important site for us, a really important site for remembering what our people went through to live here, to survive here, to continue with their faith and to continue with their way of life.